to the 5. Rice to the house. Sanders has the 5. Sanders has Peter.
Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into another Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. Coach G, it's great to be back with you. And I know there are no mulligans in college football, but it felt like on a Friday night at University Stadium that your defense gave your team a chance to win. Is that one, if you go back and replay those 60 minutes, you think that it might be a different outcome?
Oh, I would love to play that game again, and I think it's what we got to look forward to in the future. I think both teams had similar game plans. Let's see if we can pound the ball at each other, throw some deep shots, and see who's going to connect. And early on in the game, they made 2 plays that we didn't. We had one to Jordan Porter where he caught it going out of bounds. If Miles has one more step, it's probably a 70-yard touchdown because Jordan was 10 yards behind the defenders. And then they have a DB make a pretty decent play. I still think Austin could probably go get that ball. But if we connect on those, it's either a 10-10 or a 10-7 game. The first 4 series for both teams were 3 and outs. So, it was the exact kind of game we thought it was going to be up until the block punt.
The ball to Austin Erickson, you feel like that's one he could leave his feet, go up and get it?
I do. We talk about competitive catches all the time, and the DB swung and barely got a piece of it. I think if now it would have been hard because Austin, it was a little bit behind him, but if he reaches out for it instead of waiting for it to down here, there's a good chance he's going to make that play.
So the Lobos fall to Boise State in their conference opener on a red out at University Stadium. But as Coach G pointed out, early 3 and outs, your defense was all over Hank Bachmeier, and their run game was really non-existent. It
wasn't. Like I said, for both teams, that was the idea. Keep pounding away, and sooner or later, something's going to give. We have a missed assignment on a 4th and 1 early on in the game where we're going in to score. We don't block down, then make a play in the backfield. If we block down, it looks like Nate Jones might be one-on-one in the secondary with the safety for another opportunity to 40-yard touchdown. So we made some mistakes that were probably the difference in the game.
One of the things that will change for the Lobos is that right tackle position. We now know that DJ Wingfield has a season-ending ACL injury. What's it going to look like in that spot?
Well, Tavian Ford will get the start this week. Greg Brown started. The 2 of them shared that position. With the limited time in practice, probably hampered their preparation a little bit. But now that we know the solid focus, we should be able to clean that up a little bit.
And you think that unit can be even better against UTEP?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. We've got to clean up some mistakes, get those guys continuously on the same page, and I think we'll continue to make progress.
You look at the numbers for Lobo starter Miles Kendrick at the quarterback position. They don't look very good, but how did you assess his performance?
I thought he was hit and miss. Now, we took 17 shots downfield. We only connected on 2 of them. One of them was a converted fade, the touchdown to Jordan Porter for 69 yards. We had more opportunities. We're going to continue to stretch the field like that because I thought it was good, but we've got to connect the dots on those. It'll help give us some more space in the running game, and it changed the dynamic of the game. I thought Boise's 2 that they completed in the first half gave them points. Now, we were able to keep them out of the end zone on one of them, but the other one they put in there, and that was where they got the double-digit lead.
We talked on our radio broadcast, Lobo Dontrell Moore, one of the all-time greats, and I, about the fact that your defense overall did a great job, but we knew the thing you were going to focus on was the drive where they were able to run the ball on you in the second half, and I know that sticks in your craw, doesn't it?
My opinion is we gave in, and that's what I told our guys. It's 10-0. They block the punt. We come out. We get 3 and out. And, if we can muster up some offense score, whether it's on special teams, score on defense, it's 17-7, still not a big deal. The drive after that, those 1 and 2 yard run carries early on in the game that were negative yards or 1 or 2 yards, they started to become 5 and 6 yards, and then 7 yards, and then 4, and then 6. That's somebody else imposing their will, and that bothered me. We need to be a competitive team until the clock says 0, and then look up and see what happened on the scoreboard, and I don't think we did that for the full 4th quarters.
Was your inability to run the ball the way you'd like a really good Boise front, or a combination of you can do better up front and they're just a good athletic team up front?
Combination of both. They had 2 guys that we had trouble blocking, 44 and 99, are really, really good players. But it wasn't always because of what they were doing. We were making mistakes. We were not comboing up and climbing to the next level and giving the running backs an opportunity. And so if we can clean those things up, you'll see progress.
All right, let's get to first half highlights. The Lobos in Boise State on a red out in University Stadium next. We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy, and Coach G, it's time to get to our first half highlights. The Lobos in Boise State on a red out at University Stadium.
I thought the uniforms looked real good. The crowd looked real good. First play of the game, we were going to try and hit them with some play action down the seam on some option stuff that we ran against Maine, and they were able to run right over our right tackle and get Miles. Now, we went 3 and out, so we punted the ball. I thought Aaron did a really nice job up until the punt in the third quarter of changing field position, and that helped significantly. I thought the punt coverage was really good too. Defensively, we came out, we get a 3 and out. They were going to have a really hard time running the ball. They thought we were going to be in a cover 2 look right here. Jarek Reed comes down in a cover 3 look and makes the tackle for loss. And I thought this was going to be indicative of how the game went for both teams. I mean, we had a very similar game plan, and it was going to be a matter of who broke first. Dante Martin right here had a fantastic night. He's the Dante Martin that I think we're going to have for the rest of the season. One of the best corners in this league.
And he's now among the top 10 all-time in UNM history in pass breakups. And there's Luke Weissong.
You know, that was the first down of the game for either team. We were the first ones to break that ice. We had an opportunity to move into scoring position. We're going to fumble a ball. I'm not sure if we're going to show it here in a minute. We're going to fumble a ball on an option that we had blocked up fairly decent. If we can just not make those mistakes, we can move further on down and have a chance to score.
Now here's Bobby Wooden, and we noted this back in week 1 that he's pretty explosive when he gets out on the edge.
You know, right there was a 3rd down play. I think some people might have been surprised that we didn't go for it right there, being in that end of the field. I was in the field position battle right here. I thought we'd done a great job so far in punt coverage, and if we could keep them down here on defense, you know, it would give us an opportunity to score. Problem is, we let them run 2 plays out, and then they're going to complete a deep ball here for 47 yards that flipped the field for them as opposed to what we did.
There was Tavian Combs did a nice job of knocking that ball out. The Lobos couldn't get on it. Now here you make the 3rd down stop, but they go ahead and go for it on 4th as well.
They did, and they were able to convert right here. If, like you said, the Tavian Combs fumble, if we would have recovered that, we would have given the offensive ball inside the 20-yard line. Instead, they complete the 47-yard play. This one right here is really disappointing because we make an assignment error lining up. We're supposed to be inside of that guy. If we're inside of him, Jaden Phillips does a really nice job in the pass rush, we probably get a sack. Instead, it's a touchdown for Boise.
So they hit Caples for the touchdown, and it was nice to see your run game get going a little bit. Here's Sherrod White.
You know, we're down here again in scoring position. We've got an opportunity. I thought some of the protection on this drive was better. Here's a nice job by Miles making a little bit of yardage. Now we're short right here, 3rd and 1. If he could have kept his feet, we keep that drive alive. But right here on the 4th down play, we have a missed assignment. If Tavian Ford, our right tackle, blocks down, 99 is not going to be there, and Nate's going to have a chance to get to the 2nd level. Unfortunately, Boise made the play, and so it stopped the momentum, and they were able to get the ball. Now, the defense was able to come out and get a stop, and we were able to get the ball back in possession without giving up points. So taking that gamble on 4th down didn't hurt our football team.
Another great play on the ball, a pass breakup from Dante Martin. And here's your punter, Rodriguez. In the shadow of his own goalpost, he just hits a bomb.
He did. It was a great hit. Exact same punt that we're going to get blocked later. We changed the protection. But that's flipping the field. I mean, that's a 65-yard field advantage. And we did a really nice job coming out and keeping him out of the end zone.
Now, they didn't hit a lot of big ones, but this one obviously hurt to Bowens over the top. And they lined him up inside in the 3 wide receiver look, and he was on Ronald Wilson there.
They did. You know, Ronald waited a little bit too long to get out of his stance. Great play right here by Dante Martin. But on the long ball, he got run by a little bit. He was able to get him on the ground, and we kept him out of the end zone with a field goal. It was a great field goal, 49-yard hit that had plenty of distance. If Dante comes up with that interception right there, we'll keep him off the board, period. But to keep him out of the end zone was good. On those 2 long pass plays that we watched so far, 47 and 41, they had 88 yards on 2 plays of their 318. We've got to make those plays more often than not.
I felt like that there were some plays where it wasn't just the defensive front of Boise getting into your backfield early. It was that you just couldn't get anybody uncovered, and there was nowhere for Miles to go. You
know, I think that's a great scenario. On the first quarter, I thought we did a really good job of beating those guys in coverage, but we couldn't get Miles any time. In the second quarter, we were able to make some adjustments to give Miles some more time, but then the DBs were doing a better job and we weren't getting open on our routes. So you've got to get those in unison together so that when somebody's open, you can make the play.
Another terrific punt by Aaron Rodriguez a moment ago, 53-yarder. And then this is a clear pass interference, right, Coach?
It was, and they called it right away. I mean, we did a nice job on the RPO. We really had this blocked up well with the option stuff right here. Now, you have to give Boise credit on the option stuff that we ran. They did a really nice job of running the pursuit and beating us to some of our targets and enabling us to keep the option game going. Now, I thought that one was going to break for a long one. They were able to trip up Nate Jones right there. Our running backs only carried the ball 9 times with some of the stuff they were taking away. We've got to be able to run the ball more by not making mistakes and then connecting on some of those deep balls.
You take a sack here, it looks like it might get you out of field goal range, but you do a nice job with the quarterback draw of getting 6 of those lost yards back, and you get an opportunity for Steinkamp.
We did. We got an opportunity. He hit it wide. I mean, we've got to make that field goal. If you go into the locker room at 10-3, it's a significantly different momentum feel. Now, in the locker room for our guys, I mean, I told them, boys, this is exactly the kind of football game that we expected. This is exactly where we want to be. Could we have had some points? Yeah, great. You know what? It's 10-0. That's exactly what we wanted. Now, would we want to be ahead? Absolutely. But it wasn't out of reach. And we'll see what happens in the second half.
Gosh, you think about it, just a couple of plays in that first half is all the difference. Boise hit a couple big ones. The Lobos didn't. It could have been a 10-10 ball game.
Very easily. I mean, if we connect on the first one, Jordan Porter or Austin catches that, or on the 4th and 1, Nate makes somebody miss, it is a 10-10 ball game. And that would have helped our mental psyche as much as anything. I mean, our kids expected to win this game. And when something went wrong at the end, it kind of started to go. That's the attitude that we need to continue to defeat.
All right, we come back with second half highlights after this timeout. Welcome back on your Lobo Coaches Show. It's time to get into second half highlights. The Lobos trailing 10-0 to Boise State at University Stadium.
Like I said, we came out right away. I thought it was exactly what the game was going to be. And if we could keep the momentum going, it was going to be a great finish. I mean, here was a third down opportunity. We get good pressure on Bachmeier. We get him on the ground, got off the field.
Harris and Moon combining on that sack for the Lobos, and this one hurt, obviously. It backed you up right to your own goal line.
That hurt really bad because now we're punting out of here now. I thought Aaron could have some more urgency, and O.J. Bartley, if he seals his gap, they can't block it. And unfortunately they did, and that's the outcome.
So changing protection and going to that Aussie rules style kick was a result of something that happened on a previous punt?
Well, they got a little bit too close for comfort on the previous one that we were backed up, and we thought we could get outside and get some coverage. It should be pretty sound. It's just when you stop your feet in anything you do in football, it's not going to work.
Well, it sure did work for the most part when he was in the pocket and punting straight away. This one landed a little short, but look at this roll. It's the second time in the game that he's pinned the opposition inside the 10.
Oh, I thought the punt team outside of that one play was really, really good all night long with coverage and being able to get them backed up. Nice job right here. We were able to get pressure on these guys all night long. They did a really good job right here. This is Ray Luatele with a great play on the jet screen right there on a 3rd and long. They had it blocked up pretty nice, but because of the effort and the pursuit, we get off the field.
So now move forward, and this is where they started to get going with their second tailback, Genty, and he had a bunch of good runs in this series.
I think both their running backs run hard. Those plays right there, though, were plays that were making for 1 and 2 yard gains early in the game. I mean, we have a chance to hit him in the backfield right there. We made that tackle for a 4-yard loss on the first play of the game, and now they're starting to get 8, 9, 10, 11 yards. It's kind of they took our will a little bit, and that was the most disappointing part of the night was the 14 points in the 14 plays that they had in the fourth quarter. We gave up 318 total yards in the game, and we gave up 96 of them in the fourth quarter. So we got to fix that.
That end around, is that a result of the relentless pursuit that you guys have on defense that occasionally can get you?
Absolutely. The misdirection. Now we have a couple guys that's supposed to be King, the guy coming back across, so we should have had a guy meeting him on the goal line, but when you get dirty eyes, bad things happen.
That was the first of 2 really good kick returns from the true freshman, Christian Washington. Here's the big play. Now, you said this was a converted fade. What did you mean?
We called hitch routes along. He saw the press coverage, Jordan did, and Miles out there. So he converted the route to a fade. Jordan was able to run right by him. Miles threw the perfect ball. And then you can see how much speed Jordan has right there. They weren't even gaining any ground on him.
You make a change at the field goal kicker position.
Luke Drzwicki came in. He was solid on his 2 PATs. We're going to play in a bunch of close games, and those are going to be vital moments, so we're trying to shore that up. We're going to give Luke a chance and see if we can move forward with some success.
Is there supposed to be somebody spying on that dump down to the back there on that last one?
We were in a zone coverage right there. They did a good job of blocking our it was kind of a fire zone, blocking our 5-man pressure, and then we count on pursuit getting to that. Here was a really nice play by Ronald Wilson going up being a free safety. Jarrett got beat to the inside a little bit, but Ronald was there to bail him out.
What a great reaction, great read by Wilson to get over there. Second pick in as many weeks. You can't have much more time than Miles had in his end zone right there.
No, I thought we shored some things up from the second quarter on. We gave him a lot better chance. The problem was the receivers weren't getting open anymore. And so we've got to be able to do that at both sides so that we can make more plays down the field.
Once again, a really nice punt backed up in your end zone, but this is the one return where they were able to get decent yardage.
You know, we changed the protection a little bit, and it probably hampered our coverage. And unfortunately, they were able to get the ball down the 30-yard line. Statistically, you start from the 30, you've got a 90% chance of scoring some kind of points and over a 70% chance of scoring a touchdown. Our goal is to keep them out of the end zone no matter where they get the ball. Unfortunately, we didn't do that on this drive.
Play design on this was really impressive. It looked like it could have gone to either one of those guys as they were crossing in front of the quarterback, and it goes for a touchdown.
Really nice job right here by Christian Washington, just believing in the guys blocking for him. Being a kick returner, you've got to it's almost like a NASCAR driver. If you see smoke, you run right into it, and hopefully that thing clears up. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, for this one it did, and Christian did a great job, and nobody was catching him.
You told us right out of the gate that this kid had breakaway speed, and he certainly showed it on this kick. He ran away from everybody.
He did. It wasn't even close, and I think you're going to see some more of that from Christian Washington in the future.
Beautiful diving catch here by Luke Wysong late in this football game. What an athlete he is.
You know, the fight of our team didn't stop. I mean, we never quit playing. I don't think we had the same intensity in the fourth quarter that we had early on in the game. And it shouldn't matter what the scoreboard says. You should play. You only get the 12 guaranteed opportunities. You should play until the final whistle blows as hard as you can. And when the game's over, look up at the scoreboard and see what happens. And if we do that, we'll be a lot happier more oftentimes than not.
What did you say to Coach Avalos there at the finish?
Told him that on the offensive side of the ball, they whooped our tail. And we're at a point in our program right now where those guys are my buddies. And sometimes they want to be nice. So he said some compliment. I said, don't be nice to me. You beat us tonight. But don't worry. In the future, it's going to be a lot better games. So they're really good. I mean, he was good.
I know there wasn't a lot of room for him, but his first football game since 2020, what did you think of the tailback, Nate Jones?
We had a few carries. I think he needs to stay on his course. I think there was some rustiness from not playing in games. That'll come. I mean, he'll get some more live reps next week against UTEP. He's got to stay consistent downhill. I mean, that's what kind of runner Nate is, and that's what you saw his freshman year. You'll see it. He'll start being more productive.
A local linebacker, Cody Moon, got in the offensive backfield twice, accounting for a couple of sacks. What did you think of his performance?
I thought Cody played really hard. I mean, Cody's going to be a good football player. The more experience he gets, the better off it's going to be.
All right, when we come back on the other side, we peek ahead. The Lobos have UTEP on a Saturday night at University Stadium. That's next on your Lobo Coaches Show. We're back for a final time on this edition of your Lobo Coaches Show with the head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy. Coach G, a final thought on the loss to Boise State at home and the things that you're looking to improve on as you look ahead to UTEP this weekend.
You know, I think our guys expected to win the game, and I thought they were really, really disappointed with the outcome afterwards. That's the first time that I felt that against a good football team that they expected to win. I thought they played like it early. We've got to avoid the catastrophic events like the block punt, so that those games will have a different outcome, and we'll have a chance to move on now.
Some of the greatest teams in Lobo history will be honored when New Mexico takes on UTEP. 6 o'clock kick Saturday night at University Stadium. And I know that these are really close to your heart, Coach G, with your love for the history of Lobo football.
You know, I think it's important for our guys to know what came before them, so what they have and what they can build for everybody else. And the 62 team obviously won a championship. The 82 team is the only 10-win team in the program of the history of this program, And the 97 team, I was a part of it, and some of my buddies get some opportunity to come in. And it's 25 years since they finished second in the WAC, and we lost Colorado State that day, but it started what we are today. And so honoring those three teams, I mean, it's a great opportunity to get in front of those and the past of Lobo football. We've got some great stretches that we need to honor and remind everybody.
Each of those three teams will be honored individually during a break in the contest with UTEP on Saturday. How excited are you to see some of the former Lobo greats?
You know, we've got some 80-year-old guys from the 62 team, some 60-year-old guys from the 82 team. I mean, that's some really cool stuff. And then a bunch of my former teammates will be here for the 97 team. So I think it's a great deal. I bought them some gifts so that we can celebrate Lobo football, and I think it's going to be a great night.
When was the last time that you were reunited in this way with as many as will be here of that 97 team?
You know, a bunch of them came back when I was first named the head football coach, and then when we had our first home game. So I've seen quite a few of my old teammates, but it's always good to get together with those guys.
Okay, so UTEP is coming to town. Lobos have a little score to settle with the Miners. They got you last year in the Sun Bowl.
You know, they've won 2 of the last meetings between our 2 schools in 2014 and 2021. It's a great series. I mean, we've won 43, they've won 33. There's been 3 ties. I think it's a series we should play all the time. I'm glad we get them back in our stadium because we do have some payback from last year. I thought after the 13-3 halftime lead, our guys got complacent. I think they thought they were just going to come out and finish the game, and UTEP came out and took it to us.
So UTEP, the Lobos, obviously, with more than 30 players on the roster now that are New Mexico guys, they have a New Mexico kid at quarterback in Gavin Hardison.
You know, he's a Hops kid, and he chose to go down there. He went to NIMI, and then now he's at UTEP. He's played really well for him. He led him to 7 wins last year. They were a bowl team. And I'm sure he'll have a little something for us. I mean, I'm sure he gets a little excited. They did a nice job in their win over New Mexico State last week, and I'm sure they'd like to get the New Mexico sweep.
They've had an interesting start to their year, UTEP. They were defeated at home by North Texas in their first week. They went and played a big game on the road against a huge opponent, a Power 5 opponent, and got knocked around. And then got their big rivalry win over New Mexico State. I'm sure you looked at all those tapes. What do you think?
I don't think the scores are indicative of the kind of football team they are. The North Texas game was pretty close until late. The Oklahoma game was 21-10 going into the second half, and they threw for almost 300 yards against Oklahoma. And then New Mexico State, they were real aggressive, so they'll be ready.
Okay, Coach G. Appreciate your time. Best of luck. Big Saturday against UTEP at University Stadium.
Thank you.
That'll do it for us. So long, everybody. Go Lobos.
It says yes, yes, yes! Christian Washington!